Hello, 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 everybody.
Hello,
Um,
party people.
yes, I'm here with my lovely guest, Randee Brown from Thunderhorse Descendants. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We see Tammy, Leanna, Pauline, Carol Ann, Kimberly.
I don't see anybody. What's happening?
Oh, go to the comments one.
Oh, oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Now I
Yep.
see people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like it because it's live. There's not a delay for us. There's a slight delay for them, but for us, we see it really fast. But hi, Linda and Kim, Jill Cara. We got to
Oh,
talk about you coming on, Jill Cara.
yes, we do.
Yes, yes. Um, so this is Beading Besties channel where I like to interview somebody from within the jewelry world about their jewelry journey and what's gotten them to where they're at today on their creative journey. So, when's the first time that you said, I want to make my own thing? Or did
Like,
you learn with grandma?
like beading. Like, when was the first time I did beading ever? I was
Yes.
6.
Wow.
I was 6. Am I supposed to elaborate, or is this like rapid fire? Like, what are we doing?
Nope, go ahead. Go ahead and elaborate.
So, I started beading when I was 6 with my mom, my grandma Gloria, my cousin Kansas, and we would make outfits for my brother who danced in the powwow. And so we make he was a grass dancer, so we would make all the beading on the shirts, and we would make all the different beading for the headband and all the different things. And they did most of that, obviously, but they let me do the looming. That was my first ever beading. It was all set up and everything, because that's the hard part.
Right.
And they're just like, make this pattern on the loom, and that's what I did. That was my first beading experience.
And then how did it progress into a love? Or was there another creative thing that took up space in between?
Well, I was always a creative person. I used to get up at 3:00 in the morning every day and color, like when I was little. That was my thing. So I was always creative. My grandma was really creative. My grandma, my dad's mom, she's really creative. And she was a painter. So we always were doing painting and crafts and things. But there wasn't really a whole lot of beading until I was kind of on and off with my mom. So when I would go to my mom's, because obviously maybe not obviously. One side of my family is Native American and one side is not. So there is a lot of different cultural things going on as a kid. So when I would stay with my mom, I would do beading. It was not a fun activity when I was with my mom. I didn't come into beading really as a fun situation. My mom was an alcoholic, and she would leave, and I was very young, and so she would give me these beading projects, and she would be like, have this done by the time I get home tomorrow. And I'd be like, okay. And I would, because I'm little. And so I started making lighter cases. That was the first thing that I made. These were all seed bead projects, all bead weaving, seed bead, peyote stitch, type of projects. And so I would learn them. And my mom was going to community college at the time. And so they taught beading classes at the community college. So she would learn, she would come home, she would teach me, and then I would do these projects. But I was on and off with her, and so, that kind of went on for a while. I didn't really get into not seed beads. I didn't even know that there wasn't not seed beads. I didn't know there was gemstone beads until 2012.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had also become an alcoholic. This would be a long ass story. How many questions do you have?
You're good. Just go, girl. Whatever's natural. I have the little questions at the end, but those are easy peasy. Hi, Tina and Kendra.
Hi, everybody. I'm like, welcome to Randee's life story.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I became an alcoholic myself, so there was not a lot of creativity going on in that process. Because anybody who has addiction knows that there's not a whole lot of creativity going on there. So this went on for lots of years. So then, after I got into recovery, and I'd been in recovery, um, actually, as a matter of fact, the first time I went to treatment, I was 21 years old, and they would let us go to Walmart. And at Walmart, I remember I bought a seed bead. It was a bead weaving kit with crystals. And that was the first time that I had ever seen like bicone crystals, which is why I bought it. And it like made little flowers. And I put it together in treatment. I remember that. And after that, I continued on drinking. But after I got into recovery for realsies, I decided to become an addiction counselor so I can help people. So I went back to college. I was up here in Minnesota, and I went to Hazelton, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And I was there, and one of the girls who's like a cohort above me, her name was Laura. She was like, "Oh my God, we have to go to the bead store. You guys know the bead store, the Taylor's Falls bead store." And I was like, "Okay." And so she took me there. It was like our first semester in college, which was like in 2012, I think. And yeah, and I was like, "Oh my God." And I had never seen a gemstone bead ever before in my whole life, or anything besides a seed bead and a bicone. I had never seen anything else. I was like, what in the H is going on here? And so then I wanted to live at the bead store, but I couldn't because I was in college. But that's when I very first met Jeff, not my Jeff, Bead Jeff, and Amber, and all the girls down at the bead store. And yeah, so then that's when it was like, oh, yeah.
Your mind was blown by the gemstones.
Mm,
So what did you I've heard that you have like two master's degrees.
yes.
What are they in?
I have
If
a
you don't
master's.
mind sharing.
No, I have a master's degree in mental health studies and in addiction studies, and then I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. So I
Andrew.
was a drug addiction counselor in the cities in Minneapolis, and I was a drug addiction counselor. I worked in all kinds of different different types of treatment. I worked in inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment. I worked in the prison. I really liked working in the prison. That was probably my favorite. That was in the high risk prison in Stillwater, Minnesota. Um, so I worked in all kinds of different places, but mostly I worked with heroin addicts and opiate addicts in at SCS, which is so they do like methadone and Suboxone, so harm reduction type stuff. And I
Right.
did that for a long time. I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 9 years or 10 years or something. And I did that, and that including my internships. My internships I did in the prison, and so what had happened was
What
I
had happened?
what had happened. Hi, I was working, and it was really stressful. I worked with a lot of mamas who had little babies, and they would bring their babies, and I would watch all the babies, and these people would go and like, we're doing other things, but it's like a harm reduction situation. And, it was just all the time. It was just life or death all the time because the opiate pandemic.
Yeah.
And
And I bet it triggered too. Taking care of the babies probably triggered things
well, I would just
from
watch
your
them.
childhood.
Just because if you don't watch them, where are they? Who's watching them? What's going on?
Right.
Who's keeping track of that? So, yeah. But it wasn't even that. That's not why I quit counseling. That's not why I quit counseling. I quit counseling just because I didn't like the insurance company. So I didn't like that these people were coming in like the like when you're in it every day with people and they're like trying to stop and it's so hard and they can't and you've been there and all these things and they're trying to do all the things and whatever's going on, and then there's like you as a counselor you have to send in to insurance and you tell them, okay, they're doing this, they did this on the treatment plan, they did that, and then they'll give you back a letter and say, okay, since they're doing progress, we're gonna allow them to be in treatment for another 2 weeks. Let us know a report in another 2 weeks. Then you have to send in a report in 2 weeks and say, okay, they did XYZ. But I don't know if y'all know this or not, addicts aren't perfect.
No, not at all.
They mess up sometimes. And then the insurance will go, oh, no, we kick them out. And then even if they didn't, even if they didn't do anything wrong, sometimes it'd just be like, oh, well, they don't have coverage anymore. They got to go. And then it's like all the work that you did and that they've done, for that they've done. And then to just say, well, sorry, you got to go. And then what are they going to do? They're going to relapse.
Right.
That was a problem for me. But I don't know. There was a lot of different things, but I was becoming very stressed out with this whole situation. And so I would bead when I got home. I'm sure like a lot of people do when they're still working their full-time job and they have, they're like, oh, I'm going to do something creative when I get home, I'm going to bead. And so that's what I did. And then one day I was sitting there and Jefferson was like, what are we going to do with all this crap?
As men do.
So I was like, I am gonna. So then I decided I was gonna start. First I was gonna do craft show. So I did a couple of craft shows, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna start my Etsy store. I know all about the insurance crap, right, Carolyn? It's horrible.
Yeah.
So I started my first Etsy store in 2015, and it was just me just selling my jewelry. Just little things here and there, nothing businessy. I wouldn't say it was at that point in time, nothing businessy. It was just like Randee Brown's Etsy store, like whatever. And then in 2018, when I decided to quit counseling altogether, I was just like, okay, I'm going to start a jewelry store. That's what I'm going to do. Handmade jewelry store on Etsy. Beading is my night job. That I totally love, right? So I started my Etsy shop, and that's when it kind of became like my real business. At this point in time, some of you will remember, in 2018 is when I kind of started up, and that's when me and Jeff were living in the teeny tiny apartment in Robbinsdale. There's some people who've been around that long. And I started doing Facebook Live. I was doing Facebook Live, and I was doing just posting on my Etsy store. I used to post when I first started. I would post 20 new jewelry items every week.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't selling beads or anything at that time. Rosanna says, "Yeah, the apartment that flooded occasionally. Yes, our apartment would flood, and I'd be like, oh, we have to film outside today because the apartment is flooded."
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
And so then you just like hooked up with Jefferson and started, I don't know if it's similar to mine where, Bernie stores my stock. So I don't have to like keep stock, or I'm lucky I don't have to worry about like, oh, if I buy 20 strands of this and only one sells, what am I going to do kind of thing. So, but it has its moments.
Yeah. No, not at that time. I wasn't selling any beads then. I didn't start selling beads. Well, I take that back. I would sell beads, but it was just like it was very organic how Thunderhorse Descendant came to be. So I was on Facebook and I started beading on Facebook because originally what I would do is I would show my new items. I'd be like, here's my jewelry customers, right? And I'd be like, here's my new items that I've posted this week. You can see them. They're up in the Etsy store, la-da. Well, that got kind of boring for people. And then there wasn't a lot of people watching. So I said, okay, well, I'll show them how I make the stuff because they'll like that and they'll be interested in that content and they'll want to see how it's made, right? So I wouldn't show like I wouldn't say like I do now, like all tutorials or whatever, but I'd be like, oh, so we go like this, we go like that, and then that brought in some more people, and then it got to the point where we were basically just beading online, talking with people, and it was very organic. And then I started to meet some of the people. Like some of the people I met was like Rosanna, and then she was saying, "Oh, where did you get those pearls or whatever?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I got them out at this shop in Taylor's Falls." And then I'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go there on Friday," because I used to go every Friday or Wednesday or Friday. I think it was Friday. And I'd be like, "Oh, well, when I go, I'll get you some. And I'll just post them on my Etsy store and you can buy them and then I'll just ship them out with my other orders." And so that's how it started with the beads. So that was, that started going on. And then, hi. And then we started to get more bead orders. And then I think when we started to, when we were still in the small apartment is when I wasn't getting like loads of beads, but I would get beads for people when they asked me. Like if they requested certain beads, I would pick them up. So that's kind of how that went down. And then we moved out of the little apartment in 2020, but in 2019, so a year later, Jefferson was like, "You need a YouTube channel." And I was like, "No, I don't want to do YouTube."
Hello, single same.
I was like, "That's too much work. I don't want to do that. You got to edit stuff. You got to know about cameras and all kinds of stuff." And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And Jeff was like, "Okay," and then proceeded to get the channel and set up Thunderhorse Descendant, the channel, because he's like, "You might want to do the channel at some point, and you want to make sure you have it." So I was like, okay. And I think I did like maybe one video. At that time, I was working for Jesse James. And I think I did one video before Christmas of 2019, I think. And then the next year was 2020, so then everything got all crazy with the pandemic and all the things. But me and Jeff did end up moving that year to the house in Cambridge, to Thunder House. And so when we moved to Thunder House and 2020 hit, nobody needed jewelry because nobody was going anywhere. So nobody was buying jewelry. And I was like, okay, we're going to have to do a little shuffle because when in money.
Teach them how to do something while they're sitting at home doing nothing else.
Yes. So we switched over more into the beads. And I already had a relationship with Jeff from the bead store. And so it started very organically because he actually asked me, he was like, "Hey, do you want to just like, so we don't have to do all this hubbub, you take it from the store, we'll check it out, you check it back in, like no money exchanged, la-di-da, and then you just write a check at the end because it's easier." And I was like, okay. And so we did that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my experience with that. It was kind of bittersweet. I just stopped really doing that, like, because we used to do that pretty heavily every week. We would have live sales and all this goings on. So when I moved out here to Mandan is when that kind of stopped. We still
you're on your own now.
Yeah, we still work together, but it just isn't like we
at the scale it was. Yeah.
So, which I don't blame Jeff because that's like over state lines and his products and la-di-da. It's just more of a hassle because it's so far away. Hi. Everybody's saying hello.
They are. Angel and Kimberly Hayes. Carolyn. Yeah. So you are the first person that I've come across, as well as the other ladies that I met directly through you. The first person I ever met that when they said, "Oh, share your stuff, it's okay," put your stuff in the comments. It's okay that you like actually meant it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just something that was said and then you do it and then people get salty. And that was what I wanted. I wanted it to be something like, uh, total pun intended. There are enough facets in the jewelry world. We should all be good. If they can cut those itty bitty little golf ball beads, I think we can all cut each other a little slack, show each other a little grace, know that we're all in this together and that we should be promoting each other and talking each other up. You have done so. You took a chance on me and let me cover for you for a week, and it was great. And so, how did you come to like that attitude? And did you also run into a lot of like, oh yeah, share your stuff, and then it wasn't?
Well, I had a situation with a person. Yeah. So, well, first of all, Z's, I came into the internet game and the YouTube space and all the things very late. As I said, I had not even known about gemstone beads until like 2012. So then I started up my business in 2018. Right. So that's not like, it wasn't a lot of time. So I wasn't really, first of all, I wasn't really like aware that people were so territorial of things. Like I was like, oh, we're beading. Okay, so how this came to be was I started like hanging out at the bead store. I was at the bead store every day. I would go to the bead store every day and I would hang out at the bead store and I would just look at beads and I would listen and I would ask Jeff questions and I would ask Amber questions and I was like taking in all of this information and I was just like there all the time, all the time, all the time. Well, the reason I could be there all the time is because I was watching my mom's house and she ended up moving to Mesa, where you are. Yeah. So she ended up moving. So I was watching her house and Lily, when Lily was a little baby, when she was my mom's dog. And so I was just like living at the bead store, doing my job, doing things, learning stuff, whatever. Well, then after that happened and 2020 came around and I moved back in, they had left and I basically moved back in with Jefferson and we were in town and I was just like, I didn't have any people anymore or any creativity going on around me. I was just like sitting at the apartment and I'm just like, this is not good. And Jeff suggested, why don't you get in some groups? Look online for some similar groups, people who like to do stuff like you like to do. And I was like, oh, because I was not ever like, I'm not a gamer. I don't play video games. I'm not a computer person. Like, I'm totally out of it. I'm a horrible YouTuber.
Well, yeah, like Kim asked, how'd you both become so techie? Kim, I'm not techie. I don't even edit. I record as if I'm live and it gets put up on the computer. I don't even watch the videos most of the time because then I'd never put them up. But I can't, like, I have Derkham's disease, which causes massive problems with memory recall. So learning new things, like how to edit videos, somebody would have to sit next to me for a year every day for me to go through it over and over and over again. So we're not so techie, Kim.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, I have IT. If you're in the Thunderhorse Descendant group, you know that's Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody call IT. We got problems over here. But I have been getting better. But yeah, so I'm doing all that. I get into these groups. And I don't know really anything, really, honestly, I don't really know anything about Facebook groups. Like, I'm just like, okay. And so I got into some groups and I was doing some stuff. And then they're like, oh, share your stuff. And I'm like, okay. And so I do. And then it doesn't always work out. I'm like, oh. And I started to notice that people were very territorial. They were like, oh, share your stuff, but only if you used our beads. And share your stuff and only if you used our beading wear. And share your stuff, but don't put your name on it because we're not trying to do whatever. And don't share your your listings, which I understand the listings thing. I get that. Anyway, so I got into a thing with a person who everybody knows that I thought I was like, oh, we're going to be friends and this is going to be lovely. And then they found out that I had a company. Like, we were friends until they found out that I had my own company. And I was like, and then they were like, we don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, literally were like, blocked me from their groups, blocked me from their videos, blocked me on all social media. And I had talked with these people in person. Like, we were friends. And then I was like, huh, okay. Because that's not the persona that we generally get online from this person, from said person.
Right.
I'm like, oh. Well, my counseling background tells me you are threatened. If you listen to people long enough, they'll tell you exactly what their fears and their weaknesses are.
Yep.
And I was
someone tells who they are, listen.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And so I decided that was really crappy, and I wasn't going to be like that.
Yeah.
I'm
like, the same way. It doesn't make any sense.
Because how are you going to, like myself, like how am I going to be up here on the internet showing you things, selling you beads, and then being like, but don't do what I do. Don't do the thing that I taught you to do. Don't use those beads that I use because I'm using these beads. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes, it doesn't make sense to me either. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
That's like, yeah. And I just recently had a similar situation, but it turned out with a happy ending. So it's okay. But yeah, it's a little frustrating, and that's why. I also know that a lot of us within the jewelry world deal with chronic pain and invisible diseases and whatever else. And so that's why Beading Besties does not belong to anyone. It's not any one channel, it's not any one person, it's nothing. It's there. And there are groups for every state so that people can set up their own chats in there as well, which a lot of channels don't do that. But that way people can bead virtually and or in person. Well, like Miss Beth is in every state, though, just so you know. Today she was in Iowa. I don't understand why. Every day I get a notification because I set up all the groups. So obviously I'm a member of all the groups. And every day Beth is somewhere new.
She's traveling.
She's boot scooting Beth. She's got a boot scooting all over the U.S.
Yeah. So I just decided when I was a new Thunderhorse Descendant that I was like, that's not. And the other thing is that I spent a lot of time in the bead store, and they're very like open with their communication, and they're like these designs and this and how much it is and blah blah blah. And so I just was used to that, and also I just didn't like the way it felt when people were saying one thing and acting one way, and then behind closed doors we're doing other things, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I like to say I'm allergic to bullshit, and some of them are EpiPen level. So it's ridiculous. But that's why, it's another reason why I'm like, I use the hashtag beating myself better and beating yourself better, because we do. It really has saved me with what could have been some really dark days. And instead, I met this wonderful community, and I was introduced to you, and you were walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And so I was like, oh, good, I can be like that and be in this area and whatever else. And so, yeah, I like it. I think it's best. Okay, first off, the majority of us are women, but we already have to compete with men. So we should not be competing with each other as well. We need to be coming together and banding it up. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to start a marketplace on Facebook right now to where anybody can go and have a channel or their own like little store within it. So coming up to Christmas, we don't all have to like show up. Like we can just go to one place, post our stuff there. But yeah, I also came across a lot of people who were like, "Oh, I nobody knows I make jewelry," or "I don't post my jewelry," or so when I was still in the Camel Creators Facebook page, the two most popular posts that were ever put up in that group during my time there was one when I put up a picture of myself and said, "This is the first time I've posted a picture of myself in 4 or 5 years. If you're not ready to like do a full blown, like, hey, here's my profile pic, just leave it in the comment. You don't have to be all on your own." And then the second one, it was the same thing, but like share your piece. And then so everybody started sharing, and then everybody started like building each other up. And so there are people that started selling because of that. I got a phone call one night at 8:30, 9 o'clock from an unknown number, and I answered it, and I was like, "Hello, I just sold my first custom piece." And I was like, "That that makes it all better. Like it doesn't matter how much pain I'm in when something like that happens. It's just like it's a boost that nothing artificial can do because it's completely authentic. And I just want to help grow. And like I said, you, Rosanna, Beth, we all genuinely mean all of that. And so it's nice to have other women that don't, like I said, don't just talk the talk, but walk the walk. But so have you ever done any shows yourself?
Craft shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did craft shows. Wearing Stones is here.
Wait, who?
Wearing Stones.
Oh.
Hi. Sorry. Yeah, I did craft shows. I still do craft shows. Well, I only do usually one craft show a year because I'm busy. I'm really busy now with my online stuff. But I did do craft shows for quite a long time. I would say mostly between 2018 and 2022, probably. And then we got really busy with the online stuff. And when I started getting like employees and I started getting like Shannon and Phyllis and Molly and all them, it was a lot of more businessy type work. So I kind of had to step away from that. But honestly, it's the same, but it's different. Like you got to put in the money in the front end of a craft show. You got to make all the stuff. You got to set up. You got to do time. Got to advertise, do all the things. You're doing online stuff.
Hey, that's awesome. Sorry.
Well, it is
awesome.
You do it on the internet. You're still putting in time. You're still doing the posts. You're still taking all the photos. Like it's the same, but it's different. So right. I don't know. I do think though that having your stuff online is important because it is available to everyone. Whereas when you're at a show, it's only available to the people who show up that day. Yeah. Right? We can take photos and post it on social media or whatever, but the people who come are going to be your buyers. And if that show doesn't do a lot of advertising, etc., whatever, they don't, it's not a great show, then you don't get as many people looking at your stuff. Yeah. You missed the Annetta show for the first time in forever this year. I know. It was so weird. It was really strange. Me and Jeff went to Lily won. Did I tell you guys Lily won the dog competition or whatever? She's the most number one dog in Annetta because we like accidentally stumbled into that, and then we had lunch, and I don't know, we were just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It was weird.
So how did? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, because if you do a festival, you never get to really like attend said festival. You just are
Yeah.
part of the festival.
Mhm.
Congratulations to Lily.
Yes. So how did FOC start?
Oh, we started that on Thunderhorse Descendant. Uh, we were on Thunderhorse Descendant in the morning time doing our morning coffee because we've been doing morning coffee on Thunderhorse Descendant at 9 o'clock every day for
Since 2020?
since 2020, 2018, 2020, since 2020. Yeah, that seems right. So we would look at books sometimes. Look at beading books and look for inspiration. Look for the razzle dazzle, whatever you want to call it. I'm really into like the symbolism and the cultural meaning and the spiritual stuff and like all that. So we read a lot of books over there. So I had gotten this new book that found out I started ordering them on Amazon. You guys gotta be careful with that. Go to Amazon, and then when you click the price, under the price there'll be a little tiny used price number where you can get books for like $3. Just
Yep, that's how I do too.
So anyway, I was ordering all these books and I got Found Objects Challenge, and I was like, oh, okay. Or it was Found Objects by what's her face? Can't remember her name now. Anyway, we looked at the morning coffee and we said, wouldn't it be fun if we all like did this Found Objects Challenge? And so we kind of came up with it, and so I sell the bag online, and it used to be more of a. Somebody had brought this up the other day. It used to be more of a Found Objects Challenge. We just recently upped the price. We upped, I think, $1 or $2. And then we also upped like the quality of the beads you're getting.
Right.
It used to be where I would get like stuff that needed to be repurposed, things that were broken, things that were weird stuff from the kitchen, things that were
Right.
used from the thrift store, whatever. And that's the type of stuff that you would get. So we just recently changed that. But yeah, we've been doing Found Objects Challenge for a long time. We're still doing it.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun because it helps me stretch my creativity completely. And as I was telling you before you went live, my second one that you sent me just like hit something in me, which is crazy because it had a lot of beads in it that I already had myself. So it was like, how come? But the way you put them together makes you like look at things in a different way. And then, as you know, I was kind of addicted to scoops. I
Yeah.
bought a lot. I bought a lot of scoops. A lot of scoops. I only have probably like 6 of the Randee big boxes still full of beads, and I sent like 4 of them home with my sister and her 2 girls.
Oh.
So yeah. So I have a lot, but it's okay because they go in my kid box, and then I either do things with stuff with them because I love doing like bracelet bash parties with kids because they don't have like formed rules in their head. It's not this has to go with that and this can only go with that. They don't care about any of that. They're like, I want this and that and this and that and this and that. They put it together and they're like, holy shit, that looks awesome. So I like doing that. And then if I start getting an abundance, I'll go and donate to like the local elementary school with like a big spool of stretch magic or whatever. So because their budgets are
Yeah.
0. They have no budget. So it gives them something they can teach them. Yeah, they get nothing. So that's a lot of fun. And I'm lucky just as my husband, I'm sure you've seen him in the chat tonight. He's like Jefferson. He pops in. He likes getting a laugh with the girls and whatever else, and gets him a little bit of like extra attention. So, but now we'll be down at Bernie's and somebody will be like, oh, well, I'm looking for this. And like he goes and he does it and he's like, babe, I know what a bicone is.
Yeah, it's fun when they start to learn that kind of stuff.
Right? Yeah. And just like you, like when Bernie would do a buyout from somebody, like he did this huge buyout of this woman's like 70-year-long collection she had bought from him whenever she came down through Tucson. So her husband called and said, if you'll pay to ship all this to me and give me a prize. So we'd sit down there until like 11, 12 o'clock at night helping sort everything. And he'd be like, why do you do this? Like, it's cool. I give you a bead here or there, but like, I'm like, it's an education, like no other. There's no other way that I would be exposed to the different number of gemstones, and there were completed pieces and techniques I didn't know. And it was just like a lot of fun. So we would like that one, we were there almost every single night other than Sunday for like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
going through and sorting that collection because it was like 23 boxes of like the big standard, like put as much in here as you can, and it's the same price kind of box. So yeah, but it's fun. Like you said, it's an education. Being down at Taylor Falls, it's an education. And now I like being down there and I like being able to help other people. And so it's a lot of fun. But like I said, I was very inspired by the fact that you walk the walk, you don't just talk the talk. But so speaking of people and their things, Bernard Pivot had this set of questions that he would ask all of his guests. And then James Lipton, he is a flirt, him. Oh my goodness. And then James Limpton revised it for his show Inside the Actor Studio, and I have revised it to fit us. So,
okay.
Question number 1: what is your favorite gemstone?
Wait a minute, are these rapid fire questions?
Well, now you can elaborate. We're okay with that.
What is my favorite gemstone?
Yeah.
Okay. We had to start with the hardest one you got. It's the hardest question you have.
It's not. I promise.
My favorite one. Well, I'm going to have to say, I don't want to say. I would say I'm very drawn to amethyst. That's also my birthstone, but I'm also very drawn to amethyst. But I like quartz. I'm very basic. I like quartz. I like clear quartz. I like smoky quartz. I like all the rutilated quartz. But I also love all the jaspers and the agates. And I love all of those. I pretty much love all of them.
Well, my dream is to someday have a bead making machine thing and go around and take all these countertops that people are just ripping out and throwing away and turning them into beads. Like, that would be my heaven, is the way that I would see that. Like,
yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Because my husband's in the construction business. He does gas plumbing, and he's like, babe, this brand new house, they took the brand new countertop out, just put it out in the dumpster, put in a different one. They didn't even live in the house for a day yet. So yeah.
Rosanna says, don't forget about Septarian stone. Septarian stone really is my favorite stone.
Wait, what is that?
Septarian stone?
I don't know what that is. Please educate me.
It's yellow and brown, and it basically is like when the creek bed like dries up, and then it fills up with like chalcedony or like the yellow chalcedony, and then so you can still see it's like petrified mud.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool.
Angel, we could totally start an account so we could all be part of that. It would be the best. She's like, "Ooh, that's a great idea." Okay, so what? Go ahead.
Cool opportunity bead lover, Kimberly said.
Yes. So, what is your least favorite gemstone?
Malachite.
Malachite? I don't get it.
I just don't like it. I just am like, if I had to choose, I would never choose a malachite. I think it's because it kind of looks fake. It's not fake, but it kind of looks fake. And it's like,
Get fakes very often.
I don't trust it. Is it real or is it not real? Why is it $8? I have questions.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
All the things. All the things. I think creatively, I like when I like get new beads. Just they could be anything, or it doesn't even have to be bead. Like when I get new crafting supplies of any sort, I'm like, woo!
And if hubby brings them home,
Yeah, let's
right?
get
If hubby brings them to us, then you know. So, what turns you off?
off.
Yep.
I guess when I see things like, because we work with a lot of like beads stuff, obviously. When I see the same thing over and over and over and over, the same theme, the same, like, it's the same. And I'm just like, we did this yesterday. We did this last month. This was the same thing you had last September. I don't like that bothered.
Well, yeah, and it almost is like all the bead boxes are in cahoots with each other because they all are very similar in themes sometimes and even colors. And you're like, wait, did they all like get together ahead of time or?
I think they all got together on Chat GBT is what happened.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite curse word when you're making? Like, because we all know we have one. When something just gets you and you're like, and say it. I don't care, let it fly.
I don't swear that much. Jeff,
Oh, really?
do I have a swear word?
No.
No.
I'm the sailor's mouth.
Jeff said no, you don't have a swear word. I don't swear that much. I guess I no, normally I just talk shit to my beads and I'll just be like, don't mess with me, but I don't really swear that much. Jeff's the one who does all the swearing. I tried in the past to create a no F word rule in the house because I'm like, you're making me upset because I have trauma.
Yes, and Rosanna does occasionally swear on air, so it's okay.
I might be like, oh shit, that's probably the extent of it. But
yeah.
Not really. I don't really swear that much.
What jewelry technique do you love the most?
Knotting.
I figured that would be yours.
I think that's
Because you do the regular like pearl knotting, but then you also do what do you call it? Crazy knot?
Oh, nutcase knotting?
Yes, nutcase knotting.
Nutcase knotting. Nutcase
Yes.
knotting is very fun. Highly recommend. My
Yes.
husband says the F word the worst.
What technique do you just over it, can't do it, don't want to see it again, done? At least in this moment of time.
Sometimes, well, I don't know. I run in streaks. You know how that goes.
I do too.
I don't really care for a lot of bead weaving. Just because I think that like I did a lot of that in like peyote stitch and stuff when I was little, and I have no patience for that. I'm just like if it takes more than 20 minutes, I don't know.
And if I have to reinforce it 20 times, move on.
Yeah,
I could have done 4 necklaces by now.
I'll do them. I've done some, like I've done some really probably like pretty intense projects for me, I would say. But then I get curious, then I get curious. Like I'll buy a book and I'll be like, oh. I was reading Kimberly's comment. How come these ones pop up like that? What's going on with that?
Because I touched them. If there's one thing you want to pop up, you just put your cursor over it and hit the show.
Oh.
And it pops up. Just like that.
Let me try it. Yeah. Oh, Maybe it doesn't work for me.
It should work for you. That's weird. It's always worked. That's weird. Yeah, I've always been able to. Mine always stay with sugar. Yeah.
Wait, let me try the dots.
Okay.
Oh no, that just says ban the user. We don't want to do that.
Yeah. No. Do you see the show? Like when you run your cursor over it, is there a plus sign plus show?
No.
Oh. Okay, I'll have to figure that out for next time.
No.
Okay. If money was no object, what gemstone would be your countertop?
That's a good question.
And you can have different kitchen and bathroom. I'm okay with that. Doesn't have to be everyone.
Jefferson said,
like,
that's a good question. Ocean Jasper for the kitchen.
Nice.
Ocean Jasper for the kitchen. If we can have a second one in the bathroom bay as well, right?
Dude, tile it all up.
Ooh, Ethiopian opal. That's a good one.
Wow, you really have no budget.
That was Rosanna's suggestion. I agree.
No, I saw that.
I'm gonna have to go with that. An Ethiopian fire opal. Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
And an ocean jasper. Yeah, that's what I would go with.
So, what is your favorite piece of jewelry you've ever made, and why?
Jefferson's just laughing to himself.
Why? Because I'm making him think? No.
I'm just thinking of all the jewelry she's made.
Oh, yeah, she's made a lot of jewelry, yeah.
I'm like, no, I know exactly what it is. So because it's a Septarian heart stone that's wire wrapped, and it's a large stone. It's not a pendant or a cabochon or anything. It's just like a palm stone, and it's
right.
Septarian. And here's the thing. So crazy story. I fell in love with Septarian stone when I was in Taylor's Falls, la-di-da. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing stone. I love it. And then I went home to my grandma's house, and my grandma gave me this rock, this heart, this Septarian stone heart. And she was like, can you wire wrap this into a necklace? It used to be Grandma Fisher's, which would be my great grandma. And my great grandma Fisher was in a jewelry club of the month where they would send things every month. This was, back in the day. I don't know if it was from Avon or what it was from, but anyway, so it was my grandma Fisher's. And so I said, sure. So I took it back and I wire wrapped it, and then I just put it on a piece of leather, and I got it back when my grandma passed, and I wore it to her funeral, and now I have that. So I made it.
Awesome.
That's why.
There you go. If heaven exists, what would you want God to say when you walked up to the pearly gates?
Come on in. Missed you. Glad you're here. You're back. Glad you're back. Come on in.
Right?
Oh, I wouldn't want him to say, no, you're at the wrong door.
Yeah, it's just to have some fun. I just thought, I should have done something in sociology, because other human beings, just I want to know everything about them, why they do what they do, what made you think that when this happened. I'm very into that. So this question list was my favorite part of the episodes, because they just they say them very rapid fire, and it's just kind of this thing. And it's funny because guests would say, I had answers ahead of time because we knew you were going to ask, but what came out of their mouth was not what they in the moment was not what they had pre. And so that just is okay, yeah, you can have an answer, but when you're in a conversation and you've talked about certain things and whatever else, your answers may be different every single time. So it's very important to me. Lastly, if you could impart any advice to newer beaters, newer YouTube content creators, any of that, what would it be?
I would say just be who you are. Don't try to be anybody else or copy anybody else's persona online or their style or their whatever they're doing, because like that facade of not being authentic, like being authentic even in like the realm of counseling, like with people, that's what people are drawn to. They're drawn to who you are as a person. And if people don't like you and they're not watching and they're not coming to their channel or whatever, that's fine. You don't want those people.
Correct.
You don't want those people. Those people are problematic. You just let those people go on over to somebody else's channel because that's where they belong. You got to find your little group of people, because then you'll be able to create an authentic like group situation. So I would say that's kind of how we've always been over on Thunderhorse Descendant. And there was only a handful of times throughout the entirety of, since we've had a Facebook group, a message group, like any type of thing, that anybody really had to say anything to anybody else, because the group dynamic that I set over there is like, if you can't be nice to anybody and you don't have anything nice to say, kick rocks. We don't need you.
Exactly.
Would prefer that you just go on to someone else. And I encourage people to say nice things and make nice comments on people's posts, because I've always found it very
Loop around comes around.
well, and it's very like generic, when people are like, "Oh, nice necklace," or whatever. It's like try to say something specific about the necklace that you really like. Take a moment to realize there's a human on the other end of this, and say, "Oh, I like that you use this colorway together, or these stones look nice, or you use spacers. That's really great," or whatever. Something specific. And then it doesn't make it feel so generic.
Yes. Now, I started... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, there's only one time that anybody had to kick anybody out the group, and it wasn't even me who kicked people out the group. It was Miss Mary.
Yeah, I started a jewelry journal because of you, because I want to be able to look back on what I did. Plus, with my memory recall issues, I can write down little notes. So if I want to revamp a design, I don't have to try to figure out like what gauge, how long, all of that kind of stuff. You decorate yours up like nobody's business. I want to be able to go back and look at stuff. So Angel asked, actually, where do you see yourself with your jewelry making 5 years from now?
Me?
Yeah.
5 years from now is what year? 2020, 2030? I think within 5 years that we will be we're kind of in a transitional period right now with Thunderhorse Descendant since I've moved. And normally that would bother me, but I've been trying to I'm trying to be water. I'm always trying to be water. Just go with the flow. Just taking the curves as they come. Because I am in a smaller space now and I don't have my help and I don't have, whatever. But that's fine. So I think in 5 years we'll probably be in our own space of some sorts.
Thunder Farm, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Thunder Farm. Yeah. In our own space, whatever that may look like. That could be, maybe that's like an actual storefront. I always thought it might be a storefront, but things are kind of rough right now, so I don't know how that's looking. Your face. So
I know.
I don't know, but I think we'll just be in a little bit more probably stable environment, probably back with some employees, I would think, and just doing our stuff, just still continuing to do what we do and creating community online.
and I hope they're nice to you. I hope this wasn't too painful. I really do appreciate you coming on. Like I said, and everybody has said in here that you are a very authentic person. That's why people are drawn to you. That's why I was drawn to you, and why, while doing my own thing, I try to model your philosophy without modeling what you are. I had been talking to Bernie for 4 years about letting me do the store and whatever else. And so then when he finally started, I was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I honestly don't know how long that's going to last. I may just have to do things on my own where, what I say is valid and valued. So it's hard. The ladies know, those who watch, they absolutely do it. Angel, I agree. We need a retreat. We need a cruise. We need a something. Could you imagine all of us on a cruise ship with our beads and our tools and our everything?
Thunderfest. They're after me for Thunderfest, Jefferson.
Yes.
Jefferson has been rooting for Thunderfest for years and years.
Well, Steve will be right there with you, Jeff.
Well, there's lots of Steves.
Oh yeah, all the Steves. Yes. Yes,
they made Jefferson an honorary Steve. I don't know if you know.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, I was on that day.
Yeah. No, I know it's hard. It can be hard, especially when you're working with other people. I don't know what that, like I said, we're in this transitional period right now, but I'm hoping, well, and I'm going to try to go so I haven't cut ties completely with Jeff. I'm trying to prep for Tucson.
You see what my hubby said?
I'm not going. But Jeff's going to go like he always does. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm trying to get Thunderhorse Descendant ready for that so that he's going to go and he'll get all the stuff as he normally does. But I'm trying to set up where we're going to be ready for that. Like,
ready
money wise and Christmas, so I don't know. It's a situation, but yeah, no, I think that, being an authentic person is just part of kind of how you have to be, because it's like I have memory issues because I was an alcoholic for so long that you lose your memory issues, which is why I have a journal, which is why I have a bead book, like a bead design book, because you guys know I'll make a design 5 minutes ago and then not remember what we said we were going to do. I don't know. So
but how do you paint each individual sheet so they don't stick together? That has been like a burning question in my mind. You go through and paint these pages. How do they dry and not stick together?
Oh, I use Ranger paint. It's from Ranger, and it's called Delusions paint, and it's mixed media journal paint. So once it dries, you can even write on it with a pen, and you can still see it doesn't it's not like regular paint. So that's what I use.
Babe, Christmas gift. Hope you're listening.
RangerInc.com. Not sponsored. Hashtag sponsor Randee.
Right? That's like the other day I had a tying station and I was like, no, this is not the one everybody thinks, but I'm open for sponsorships. Like, if you want to send one to me, I'm all good with it. You can send me free tools. I don't even know how to do that. I'm dying to know how you do the Facebook reviews and they just send you stuff. Or they set up a storefront. That's all the techie stuff I need to learn. So Jefferson might need to set up and do some classes. You can use my StreamYard account. I will let you. I have 4 seats. You can invite, each person can invite, I think, 100 people. Dude, we could even sell out with a class fee. So many of us need the techie information, and Jefferson has just a good old time boy kind of charm about him that just I would listen to him and not be annoyed because he's a guy telling me how to do something.
Well, that makes one of us. Someone asked, has Jefferson always been supportive of your beading? And I would have to say yes. Is that right?
Better.
Yeah,
It keeps us from being crazy.
yeah, he's always been supportive. There was only like one time when I was doing shows that we got a little cranky pants together. We were trying to set shows up together. In his defense, that was mostly me. Because I wanted it to be perfect, you know, when you're first starting out and you're like, it has to be this way and it has to be that way. And he's just like, hey man, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
So there was that. But yeah, I am not as artistic as you, Randee. So I take pictures of everything I make, sewing, beading, and cross stitching, and I post it on my Instagram. Well, you got an Instagram.
I mean, this
Instagram.
Okay, I am sorry. I call bullshit. Because she said she decided she wanted to make spiders. Hey, Mana White, come grab me the nuts if you don't mind. That's Steve, by the way. He's my Mana White. So we can grab stuff. She was like, oh, you know those little spiders everybody makes? I want to make really big ones. And we're like, in this whole like conversation about it, and I was like, oh well, you could use this or this, and she's like, no, really big ones. And I had some lays from Hawaii that had been sitting in Bernie's shop for like 20 years. How I never saw them ahead of time, I don't know, but I sent these to her. And this was for like the butt of the spider.
Oh.
Right? Perfect spider.
That's a nut.
Yeah. And then these for the head of the spider with the girl, you should see what she did with these.
They were awesome.
I'm sending her more supplies because I have family members that want them. So I'm just gonna send her, and then like these are all shells that were turned into bead like circles.
So
but
what,
yeah,
what you're telling me is Leanna's holding out on us.
Yeah.
She's holding out on you, and like I said, I call bullshit because she is so talented. You notice in her own comments, she's like, "Oh, sewing, beading, cross stitch." Yeah, you're not talented. You just do all three of those. Are you kidding me? Sorry, can't allow it because that's not true, my dear. I love ya. Like, no. Who are we referring to? Really, Leanna? She's such a nut.
Who is this artistic lady you refer to?
Well, we had a group chat with several of us, and I said that we were like the pink ladies meet golden girls, so now we're the platinum ladies.
Oh.
Because they didn't want to be golden girls because they're platinum, so.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, so like Leanna, Beth, Rosanna, that chat, Randee, we've had people like join, say, I love you, but bye, because it is vibing almost 24/7. Message after message after message after message, but yes, it's insane, but it's fun. Oh, were the spiders Miranda? It might have been Miranda who did the spiders, my memory stuff. But you are still talented as hell, Leanna, so don't say you're not. But yeah, so it's great fun. I don't know, anything else you want to say to everybody before we sign off? I appreciate you coming on. It was great fun. I appreciate you for being an example of what I wanted and wasn't sure was possible until I met you, and then Beth, and then Rosanna. I wasn't sure, and then they showed me that it was, and you showed me that it was. So I just want to thank you for that. It has led me to like strive out for that stuff and not settle for less because of it. And so, yeah, I appreciate that. But if there's anything else you'd like to tell the group before we go, we'd love to hear it.
There was two things, and they were just in my brain, and I was like, I have to remember to say that. Number one is about the FOC. The FOC is a very specific game that we play. So the challenge, but it's very specific, and also it is what has created pretty much all of our group dynamic. So it gave everybody a reason to be on the group, number one. They had to post. That was part of the rules. You have to post. None of this, we can't post because we're scared, girl.
Bye, girl, bye. Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it. Get your pictures up there. You can do it. Make your kid take the pictures. I don't care. Send them to me. I'll post them.
And Mevin said her dogs do it.
And then the other part of it was interact with other people and say something nice about the thing they made or whatever and get involved. And that's how a lot of people got involved with talking in the group and becoming comfortable posting in the group. And now most people will hashtag what's on my mat today just for funsies because we got things, whatever. And so that was a big part of the group dynamic that pulled everybody in together. So we love that.
It's
also
Found Objects Challenge, Kendra. She puts out a packet every month that's $9.30. You get it. You take a photograph of what was in it. You have to make at least one item, and there has to be at least one thing in the FOC that's identifiable as one of the beginning parts of it, the recipe, the ingredients, whatever. Some people like me give ourselves extra challenge, whereas I try not to use anything unless I've gotten it from Randee. And although this month I did pull in whatever I needed to from the Bead Box bargains when I ran out of stuff in my FOC, but it's a great way to stretch your creativity. It's a great way to get into a group. Randee's group is another one, just like Beading Besties, where everybody is welcome, as long as you are kind, supportive, and respectful. That's all we ask.
Yeah. So that part is the thing, like, another reason for like the group dynamic and why we're so like, you have to be nice and you have to do whatever, is because when I was counseling, I remember I had a supervisor tell me, you know, she was like, hey, sometimes you're the only conversation that person's going to have that day. You're it. They don't have family. Their family doesn't talk to them. Their kids don't talk to them no more. Their husband passed away. Their dog died. You're it. You're the only conversation they're going to have. You want that interaction to be positive. So if somebody new comes, we welcome them. If we encourage them to, you know, be involved, we explain all the things. You know, we don't get annoyed and short-tempered and whatever and be like, oh, you don't know about a hashtag, which, by the way, Kim, hashtag is the little number sign on your keyboard. And when you do hashtag and then you put the things, we put hashtag what's on my mat today, all one word. It highlights it. And then all those highlighted things go into their own little, like, column.
Group. Yeah. And you can search what's on your mat.
Like a tag.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. It's fun. It's a great group. Yeah. And like I said, you mean a lot to me because you gave me a chance when I was very new, and you have continued to do so. You've been continuously supportive, and I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a great night. I hope everybody has learned new things about Randee, which was the goal, so everybody could. And I don't know, we might have to have you on again in the future. But was there one other thing? You said you had two things.
I don't remember the other thing.
Oh yeah, best. So when did Jefferson's computer classes start?
I don't know what he's doing. I don't get involved in that. He'll say, send the money. Oh, all right. Well, I hope you guys all have a lovely, spectacular, amazing beading night, day, week. Oh, tomorrow's Monday.
Yep.
We'll probably just be. I will be resting before the launch tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so happy that
Love
all of your stuff is going well with your groups and stuff. Oh, I remember what the other thing was. Okay. So before I go, I wanted to say it's not that I don't want to watch all your guys' new YouTube videos that you're sending me. It's just that I'm really busy because I'm got no more employees and I'm shipping orders and I'm doing stuff and all the time they're like, oh, did you see so-and-so's video? And I'm like, no. And I feel bad.
No, if Rosanna cusses in it, though, she will log on.
Yeah, like the one time I do log on and Rosanna was cussing up Storm. I was like, oh my, what are we doing here? But yeah, so it's not that I don't try to watch your all's videos. I know that you guys are on and stuff and I feel bad, but I just am busy doing my thing.
Yeah.
Kim says,
well, thank you, hon. If there's any of you guys that didn't know Randee before tonight, I'm glad that I was able to introduce you. Thank you again for coming on. And I hope you ladies all have a fantastic rest of your night. And as always, happy beading.
bye.